In France, there's a dangerous gang of thieves that the country's police have never been able to stop from stealing. Because their planning is so dangerous and meticulous, it's beyond anything the police could ever imagine, even in their dreams. Right now, these thieves have their eyes on a very valuable safe. This safe contains diamonds worth millions of rupees. 4 thieves quietly crawl up to the door of the safe. There, using special machines, they open the door and quickly start stealing the diamonds. But trouble arrives even faster than they could have imagined. The bank's boss, returning after watching a football match, suddenly comes back to check the safe. The thieves are so engrossed in the robbery that they have no idea the boss is coming toward them. Now the question is, who actually put this team of thieves together? And will these thieves manage to escape with the diamonds, or will they get caught? To find the answer, we need to go back to the beginning of the story. At the beginning of the story, we are shown an airport in Belgium, where a plane from South Africa lands right on time. A woman dressed as a flight attendant quickly heads to a private lounge. She swipes her card, takes off her hat and gloves, sets up a camera by the window, and also sets up a phone for surveillance. She is not just any ordinary girl. Her name is Giovanna. She is a smart member of the Panther group. She quietly speaks to Donnie through her earpiece. Donnie is the same man who pulled off a major cash heist 7 years ago. Now he's hiding out in Europe, but he's still active in the world of theft. This time his target is France's World Diamond Center. But to get inside, he needs a special red diamond. Luckily, a packet of red diamonds and some secret files are set to leave for France tonight. Donnie's plan is clear. His gang will attack the airport hangar disguised as SWAT police. Giovanna continues to pose as a flight attendant and keeps an eye on every move. As soon as the right moment arrives, she gives the signal. Immediately, her team emerges from a hidden container truck and arrives in 2 cars, just like real police. They threaten with a fake bomb, throw smoke bombs, shoot at the cameras, and tie up the staff. Going inside, they break the lock and take the red diamond and the files. But just then, the security guards notice the broken cameras and call the police. The real police are approaching quickly. Giovanna shouts into her earpiece, "Move!" The gang members immediately get into the cars, hide in the container, and a truck takes them away like cargo before the police arrive. The first job is done. But this heist is going to become a huge problem later on. While the Panther gang is celebrating the airport robbery, trouble is brewing in California. Deputy Sheriff Nick is having a really bad day. After his recent divorce, Nick is very angry. In his anger, he smashes the bathroom mirror and throws his wedding ring in the trash. To forget his anger, he goes to a bar. There, he sees the news about the diamond heist at the airport on TV. As soon as the name of the Panther crew appears on the screen, Nick's eyes light up. He has followed Donnie before, and he's certain that this job is theirs. This time, he won't let them get away. Nick is now on a mission, and he even has a lead to follow them all the way to France. Meanwhile, in France, the Panther crew is preparing for their next big heist. Their next target is the World Diamond Center. Thanks to Giovanna's cunning, Donnie assumes a new fake identity as a major diamond dealer. Giovanna gives instructions to the team. Slavko, Dan, Marco, and Buck are assigned tasks according to their skills. To blend in with the crowd, the whole gang poses as festival promoters, but the real star of the show is Donnie. Giovanna introduces him to Chava, the wife of the vault manager. Only Chava can take him inside the bank. To prove himself, Donnie shows the stolen red diamond. Chava trusts him and takes him inside the World Diamond Center. As soon as he enters, Donnie observes everything closely. There are cameras installed at every corner. Guards are patrolling constantly. There's nowhere to hide. He quietly says to Giovanna, "This place is like a fortress." But they don't know that an even bigger danger is heading their way. In Italy, a mafia boss named Jamba finds out that his red diamond has been stolen in Belgium. This diamond belongs to his boss, Octopus. Jamba is furious and his men start tracking the Panther gang right away. Donnie's plan for the World Diamond Center heist now starts to become clear. He takes the stolen red diamond to an appraiser so he can sell it quickly and raise money for his operation. But there, the experts find a tiny tracking chip inside the diamond. Donnie starts to panic. This chip could get them caught directly. Chava realizes that the diamond is stolen. She offers Donnie a very low price. She says, "Take it or I'll tell everything." Donnie grumbles in anger, but reluctantly agrees because he needs the money. After the deal is done, Donnie goes back to the hideout where the gang is drawing up the entire map of the bank. They still needed more information about the security. But first, a safe escape route. The Panther gang's biggest concern was to find a route without cameras or license plate scanners. Donnie, Slavko, and Dragan go to a cliff near a winding mountain road close to the Italian border. There is no surveillance there. This place seems perfect. Donnie suggests that they use a fast 4-wheel drive vehicle. But Donnie has no idea that Nick has already tracked them down. Nick arrives in France and there he meets Detective Hugo. Hugo is a local police officer who has been chasing the Panther gang for many years. The two of them talk about the gang's old tricks together. They explain that these people are ex-soldiers and have associates spread all over Europe. Hugo shows the footage of the vault. Nick spots Donnie on the screen, but he doesn't say anything. He hides his happiness and excitement. That night, the gang members go to a bar to have some fun. There, Giovanna starts flirting with a bank guard. During this, she accidentally installs an app on his phone, which gives her remote access to it. Meanwhile, Donnie arrives home and gets a completely unexpected shock there. Nick is already sitting calmly at his table, waiting for him. Donnie immediately pulls out his gun, but Nick responds without delay. He says, "It makes me laugh when people point guns at others." Nick explains that he is now broke, exhausted from constantly chasing after him, and now he wants to join in on this heist himself. To prove his point, he shows his badge and threatens that if Donnie refuses, he'll hand him over to Hugo. With no other option, Donnie reluctantly agrees to introduce Nick to his gang. However, he still can't fully trust Nick. Unaware of all this, Jamba's mafia men have already arrived in France. They are already obtaining footage of Donnie from the local thugs. The Panther gang is busy making their plans, but Nick is always up to something suspicious. Donnie takes Nick to meet Giovanna. The moment Giovanna sees him, she starts sizing him up. She raises her eyebrows and asks why there's a cop in their crew. Nick shows his Interpol badge, but this only makes the atmosphere even more tense. Still, Giovanna sees an opportunity in this. She tells the team that this man could be their way into the vault. The others grumble that cops aren't like them, but the decision is Giovanna's. Now Nick is with them. To celebrate this, they all go to a club, but as the night goes on, things slowly get out of control. Nick starts flirting with Giovanna, which angers her ex-boyfriend Marco. In his anger, Marco throws a punch and a huge fight breaks out in the club. The bouncers throw them out and the police also arrive at the scene. The police are keeping a close eye on Nick in particular. Nick manages to talk his way out and save himself, but now the gang's trust has started to waver. Later, when Donnie and Nick are returning home, a car suddenly speeds up and stops in front of them. Some people get out, grab them, and forcibly throw them into the car. The next morning, Donnie and Nick regain consciousness on a boat. The boat is in the middle of the sea. Both have hoods over their heads, and just then, the mafia boss Jamba stands before them. His eyes are cold and dangerous. He growls and says, "You stole my red diamond. Return it or I'll destroy you." To prove his point, his men push Donnie and Nick straight into the sea. There is water everywhere, all around them. There isn't a boat in sight for miles. After gasping for breath for quite a while, they somehow manage to swim to the shore. Both of them are exhausted and scared. Panting, Donnie looks at Nick and says, "I didn't know it was his diamond." Nick was now completely fed up and wanted to get out of this gang. The mafia was extremely dangerous, but Donnie managed to stop him again with sweet talk. Donnie said, "We need you for the vault." Nick agreed, but he wasn't fully committed. They had no idea that after the fight at the club, Marco and Vuk, in anger, had left the Panther gang. Both of them had joined another gang, the Tigers, and were planning to take revenge. At their secret hideout, Giovanna blindfolded Nick and began to show him the entire plan. To keep everything secret, 127 cameras at the World Diamond Center were activated every 10 seconds. This meant that at any given time, 117 cameras were turned off. There were no recordings, only a live feed was running. This was perfect for sneaking through the dark corridors. But the restricted area of the vault was a major problem. Only authorized personnel were allowed to go there. Because of his police background, Nick became their most important man. Donnie took him to meet Chava again. This time, Donnie introduced Nick as his bodyguard and showed his resume. Chava trusted this. He set a time for Donnie to go into the vault for his belongings. Donnie finally convinced Chava to rent a vault box. He said that he was expecting diamonds. Chava agreed and set a date to store the items. For preparation, Giovanna gave Nick a stylish jacket. That jacket had hidden cameras so the entire layout of the vault could be recorded. The next day, Nick went into the World Diamond Center's vault with Chava, posing as Donnie's bodyguard. As soon as he saw the room, his heart started pounding rapidly. Heavy steel doors, high-tech locks, and a camera that didn't work like the others. As soon as he set the camera inside his jacket, his eyes fell on the box containing the red diamond. He kept himself calm, thanked Chava, and left without raising any suspicion. Back at their hideout, he shared all the information with Donnie. Donnie smiled and said, "We're very close." He says, "It's on the left side, 5th from the top in the 2nd row. I've seen the stone." After this, the gang got to work making tools to outsmart the bank's security. They 3D printed an extremely realistic mask of the bank manager for Donnie. This would fool the facial recognition system. They also made a special spray to disable the infrared sensors. No alarm would go off when someone passed by them. Nick learned how to use it. Later, he sneaked into the bank again. He pretends that Donnie needs to go into the vault. When no one is watching, he sprays the corridor camera. This disables the camera's sensors. The guard doesn't notice anything. Meanwhile, Giovanna is sitting in a nearby building. She's ready to hack into the bank's live camera feed. The gang also modified a Porsche car. It was painted white so the color could be changed quickly. Now, the night of the heist arrives. The whole city is immersed in a big football match. The guards at the World Diamond Center are cheering while watching the match on TV. They're completely distracted. This is the perfect opportunity for the Panther crew. Giovanna is stationed in the nearby building. She keeps an eye on the bank's live camera feed. The team gathers in a nearby parking area. Donnie puts on a 3D printed mask of the bank manager. He passes through the entry gate's face scanner without any trouble. The headlights of their car flash, blinding a crucial camera for 10 seconds. That's enough time to slip inside without drawing anyone's attention. The crew moves quickly. They break open a locked stairwell door and make their way up to the roof. Using an iron rod, they create a path to reach the bank's roof. One by one, everyone moves forward. Giovanna is telling them the right timing between the cameras. She whispers into the earpiece, "Wait, hold for the blackout." Everyone stops right there. Then, as soon as the timing is right, they move again and avoid being caught on the live camera feed. Once inside, they open the way to the elevator. And using ropes, they descend straight down to the vault floor. The camera loop lasted only 10 seconds and every second was crucial. They walk in a line behind a special shield so that no one in the corridor can see them. A guard looks over there, but he doesn't see anything. His attention goes back to the football match. When they reach the vault, they easily break the outer lock. Then, using noiseless high-tech tools, they open the main inner door as well. Donnie and Nick are searching for the octopus box with the red diamond, but one box after another turns out to be empty. As more vaults are open, their anxiety increases and diamonds start falling to the ground. Meanwhile, the bank manager, upset by his team's loss, decides to check the vault. Giovanna sees him on the live feed and immediately says, "The housekeeper is home. Get out now." Donnie searches one last time and then spots the glowing red diamond in the pile. The team quickly fills the bag and runs. Just as the manager approaches, they slip into the elevator. The manager places his fingerprint on the vault door. The door doesn't open, but he doesn't suspect anything. He goes to get his office keys. The Panther crew hangs by ropes inside the elevator shaft. Everyone's heart is pounding fast. Once the manager leaves, they start climbing up. A man is dragging a heavy bag. Giovanna speaks into her earpiece. "Hurry up, the cameras are coming back on." 3 seconds to change positions. The bag is clear. They reach the roof and, sliding, use an iron rod to cross over to the next building. But just as Nick is the last one, the rod breaks and falls to the street below with a loud crash. A guard turns to look, sees something strange on the monitor, and all the guards go on alert. Nick throws his bag to Slavko and runs back to the bank's roof. He hides in the darkness. As the sound of footsteps approaches, he quickly runs downward. The guards search the roof, but they find nothing. Nick tries every door, but all of them are locked. Finally, he reaches the second floor. A guard spots him and draws his gun. Nick fires first because he knows the guard's jacket will stop the bullet. The sound of the gunshot echoes and alarms start blaring throughout the bank. Nick exits through the back door and jumps straight onto the roof of a parked car. Just then, a Porsche pulls up and stops. The team pulls him inside and speeds the car away. The bank's cameras record their license plate, but the gang was already prepared for this. A few blocks away, they stop in an empty parking lot. They strip off the car's white paint, revealing a new color underneath, and in seconds, the license plate is changed. Giovanna takes the loot in a separate van and heads toward a safe location. At the bank, the manager and guards finally see the empty vault and are left stunned. The gang splits up and flees toward the Italian border via that mountain road where there were no cameras. Donnie had already scouted this route, but the danger was not over yet. 2 cars appear in the rearview mirror. Donnie says, "Keep an eye out behind us. Those aren't police lights and they're not our friends either. These were the Tigers, come for revenge." Gunshots echoed through the night. The Panthers gripped their weapons tightly and got ready for the fight. The Panther gang's car was speeding along the winding mountain road. The tires screeched as Donnie swerved the car back and forth to dodge the bullets. Marco and Book, who were leading the Tigers, kept firing from 2 cars and were hot on the Panther's tail. Nick and Slavko also started firing back in response. Glass began to shatter and scatter everywhere. Just then, Nick was shot in the shoulder. He groaned in pain but kept firing nonetheless. Donnie suddenly spun the car around and started driving in reverse so his companions could aim more accurately. Bullets were flying through the dark tunnel and over a bridge. Nick took a perfect shot. One of the Tigers' cars fell off the cliff and burst into flames, but the other car was still chasing them. and the Panthers had run out of ammunition. The Tigers got even closer. Their bullets tore through the tires of the Porsche. Donnie lost control of the car, and with a loud crash, it slammed into the mountain. Marco and Buke jumped out with their guns drawn, ready to finish everything. Nick, Donnie, and Slavko raised their hands. They had no way out now. But just as the Tigers were about to shoot, suddenly gunshots rang out from behind. Marco and Buke fell right there and were killed. The Panthers turned to look. Mafia men from Octopus were emerging from the darkness. Donnie handed the red diamond over to them. In return, the Octopus man handed over a bunch of car keys and pointed towards a new car parked nearby. A few days later, the Panthers, Donnie, Nick, Slavko, Dragon, and Giovanna meet in a quiet Italian fishing village. They sit around a table piled with cash and jewelry, smiling as they look at their loot. Nick seems a bit apart from the rest and somewhat quiet as the spoils are being divided, but this happiness doesn't last long. With Detective Hugo, the French police burst in through the door with their guns drawn. Donnie looks at Nick, who is being taken away in a separate car. That's when he realizes the truth. Nick had been playing them all from the very beginning, but when Nick sees Donnie being taken away, he feels bad inside. The time they spent together dodging bullets, talking at night, everything meant something to him. A few days later, Nick comes to visit Donnie in prison. As soon as Donnie sits down, he starts cursing. Nick remains calm and says, "I had to do it, but our friendship was real." Donnie can't believe it. Nick comes closer and quietly says, "Sit in the back on the left," and leaves without saying anything else. Meanwhile, the mafia boss, Zamba, is reading a newspaper in a barbershop and sees the news of Donnie's arrest. He immediately makes a phone call. Donnie has returned to his cell, and preparations are being made to transfer him elsewhere. He is wondering what Nick meant by what he said. The Panthers were locked up in jail. The stolen goods were missing, but something big was about to happen. As the convoy moves along a quiet highway, Donnie recalls Nick's words and sits in the back left seat. Suddenly, 2 helicopters descend and block the road. Masked men jump out, overpower the guards, and cut Donnie's chains. They put Donnie in the helicopter and take him to a luxurious villa in Sardinia. There, Octopus is already waiting with the real buyer of the red diamond. They weren't angry. In fact, they were quite impressed with Donnie, because his 2 daring heists had proven that he wasn't just an ordinary man, but a mastermind thief. Instead of sending him to jail, they offered him a chance to work with them. Donnie picked up a beer and asked about the next job. Then Donnie nods his head in agreement. Now, prison was no longer his future. Meanwhile, in France, Nick received a message from Donnie. Reading the message, he smiled. He realized that Donnie was out now. Nick was laughing as he drove along the road by the sea. The Panthers were now free. Perhaps the Octopus gang had helped them escape. Nick's double game had broken the gang, but Donnie's escape showed that the story was still not over. The game was still on. With this, the story comes to an end here. We have also explained its first part. You can watch it if you want. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next powerful and thrilling movie.